Right, to discuss what's in BJP's election manifesto, how does it really compare to the promises that have been made by the Congress party? And are these promises realistic? We're now joined by Kailash Adhikari, the MD of Governance Now, and of course, Yuvraj Pokharna, as well, who's a columnist. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us this Sunday morning to discuss this. I want to first ask you, the Prime Minister, of course, was referring to the forecast that he has, in fact, the party has referred to over the past few months. That is youth, farmers, women, poor. He also touched upon welfareism, culturalism, cultural heritage, nationalism, governance, a lot more. I want to first understand and first get your thoughts. Does the manifesto really spring any surprises, or is it along expected lines? Yuvraj, we'll go to you first.
Thank you, Sumita, for having me on your show. For starters, I witnessed the entire press conference, and I'm flabbergasted by the manifesto that manifested out, but I failed to see the BJP leader Narendra Modi out of the podcast. In fact, what I was witnessing was a statesman, the prime minister of the fifth largest economy, the fourth largest stock exchange, third largest mobile manufacturing, the second largest mobile manufacturing, and third largest automobile manufacturing. He was a completely statesman, and a message is very clear. He is something out of the box, and now he's all out in his fight against the caste politics. And yes, the manifesto is a visionary document, and if you vet it very carefully, which I'm sure we will in the coming hours, it is for the coming Kal PD, for the coming 25 years. It is not meant for this election, because as he rightly and accentuated on the point, the government has already started working on the first 100 days after winning the election. So he is not at all cynical or skeptical about the outcome of this election. What he is concerned about is the future of crores of youth like you and me. So the message is very clear. He's out there against the tentacles of the caste politics that has embroiled us from decades, from ages. And he's very much clear that this is the new Bharatiya Janata Party led by Narendra Modi. This is not be misconstrued with the so-called elite party, the party of the upper caste. This BJP is as left economically as it gets. It talks about the poor, it talks about the underprivileged, it talks about the downtrodden. And the underscoring four major identified castes are rightly deemed as Gyam, Garib, Yuva, Annadata, and Mahila. So this is the new BJP, and yes, we are looking forward to the implementation of the manifesto very soon. Over to you, Sumita.
Tushar, right. Yuvraj, you bring a very important point that is of implementation, and which is what I think many are wondering. And let me take this question across to Mr. Kailash. The big point is that is this manifesto really realistic, considering that a slew of promises really have been made, and it presents a vision of what the Prime Minister really sees, the country coming over the next few years. But the implementation really will be the big challenge for the government.
I don't really think so. Implementation will be a big challenge for the government. Firstly, the Honorable Prime Minister's address on the occasion of the unveiling of the Bharatiya Janata Party's Sankalp Patra 2024 is more of the nation's vision document for 2047. The Honorable Prime Minister has always stated that he is 24/7 for 2047, and nation first is the philosophy. And I believe that in the Sankalp Patra of Bharatiya Janata Party that is today unveiled, it's more of a vision document of India, of what he sees India in 2047. In the next 5 years, he plans that India becomes the third largest economy from currently what it is, the fifth largest economy. And if you see in the last 10 years, all that were there in the Sankalp Patra of 2014 or 19, such as Ram Mandir, such as Article 320, such as Ujjwala scheme, providing ration to 80 crore beneficiaries of this nation, all have been fulfilled. So we have no reason to say that in the next 10 years, whatever the Sankalp Patra now states about the fact that Ayushman Bharat scheme, Ujjwala to be continued, and also the fact, just imagine that when he stressed upon the infrastructure point, that when the infrastructure will care will be taken, that even truck drivers could be given rest. So how he's touching the base points of this nation, the pulse of the nation. He's the Prime Minister who understands the pulse of the nation. So I don't see any reason that why this won't be implemented with the kind of mandate that the Bharatiya Janata Party is expecting, and most probably the Bharatiya Janata Party will be successful in getting it. I don't see any problem in implementation. see a more Viksit Bharat in 2029.
Right. So you are saying that, of course, the citizens of this country will see a more Viksit Bharat, and of course, according to the vision document that the Prime Minister and of course the other leadership team of the BJP presented at this. Let me go back to Yuvraj. Yuvraj, I think a very pertinent point has really been brought about the fact that, there is inclusion for everyone. And if you see the Congress and BJP's election manifestos, now while the Congress's election manifesto focused on Nyaya Patra, 25 guarantees, the big talking point, however, was the caste census, which Rahul Gandhi and of course other Congress leaders have been pointing out. And here you have the Prime Minister, you have the BJP really launching the election manifesto on the birth anniversary of B.R. Ambedkar, one of the architects of Indian Constitution, and a towering leader from the Dalit community trying to pass on the message about inclusion. Does the Congress charge then hold water? Yuvraj.
Frankly, to me, Sumita, if you ask, the Congress manifesto is nothing but a straw man. It is as farcical as it gets. I'll tell you how. I have noted 5 major important points of the Congress manifesto. They are seeking to have a socio-economical caste census. Sumita, Congress is the same party which in Parliament in 1990s opposed the Mandal Commission. They're talking about guaranteed MSP. Sumita, if we are to expand on guaranteed MSP, it would cost the state taker up to a tune of 10 lakh crore, which is approximately 1/4 of the entire national budget. How is it possible? Tell me that. Third, they are concerning on personal laws. So are we living in the Jinnah era? They are questioning the EVM. Ironically, this is the same EVM that got them a clinching mandate in Telangana and Himachal. They are seeking to provide 1 lakh rupees unconditionally to the poorest of family. I mean, is this some kind of leke de do? It will be the money from you and me. It will be the state exchequer's money. How can they distribute it just like that? So this is all farcical. This is far from reality. This is nothing but a desperate attempt to woo the voters. The voter of this country is very smart. And as the adage goes in Hindi, roti, kapda or makan, Modi is the PM who knows the nub of the country, the pulse of the nation. Given people with toilets, he speaks about sanitary issues for women. He gives them clean water, he feeds them. So roti, kapda, makan, shiksha, the basic needs of the nation are fulfilled by Modi. And as he proudly says, कि Modi की guarantee की भी guarantee है. So this is the confidence level of the PM. So I don't see any debate in the, manifesto comparisons. BJP's manifesto, the Sankalp Patra is very much pragmatic. And as time passes, we will vet it very thoroughly.
Right. So you're saying that this manifesto that the BJP has presented is very, very practical. It really appeals to all sections of the society. Let me bring you here in Kailash on this point about jobs, because that has been one major criticism as far as this government is concerned. The Congress and of course the INDIA alliance attacking the BJP and the government, saying that it hasn't done really its bit as far as jobs front is concerned. There is a large income inequality that exists in the country. And do you really think the manifesto then addresses that issue of jobs? And of course, with technology really changing, with AI coming into jobs, and of course, various corporations including AI as part of how the businesses will drive efficiencies, do you really think that the manifesto addresses that issue of jobs in a very, very significant fashion?
Sumita, I certainly believe not only does the manifesto, but also what the Honorable Prime Minister said today morning, it very much addresses that. Now, if you see, when he stressed upon the fact in the aviation sector, he mentioned that how the government is focusing on building the aviation sector. More than 1,000 planning has been done for more airports as well as more hubs. Now, what does that happen? And he very poignantly mentioned about more job creation, not only for pilots, for airline crew, not only for ground staff. So here you see a vision document, here you see a government, here you see a prime minister who is not only focused on improving technology, he focused on telemedicine, he focused on how technological advancement can be done in every sector. But that does not mean that jobs are compromised, because human resource and human hands are needed in every sector of life. And we are at the cusp where we have to maintain a fine balance between employment as well as job. And I totally debunk what the India Alliance or the India Alliance or the opposition is trying to say. creation has happened. And even if you see the major reports, Apple, who's to set up a major manufacturing unit that they already have, and they're trying to set up more than 1.5 lakh job creations are already happening in that, just by one company who's setting up investments in this country. Imagine the kind of FDIs and the kind of investments and the global interest that investors as well as MNCs as well as Indian homegrown companies are taking, and the kind of expansion they're making, that will definitely lead to much more employment.
Right. And also we're now joined by Mr. Sumansri Raman, who's again a political analyst. Thank you, Mr. Raman, for joining us this morning. I want to first get your first thoughts on BJP's overall election manifesto. Our panelists over here have been saying that there's something. All right. I'm now being told that Mr. Raman will be joining us in just a short while from now. Let me go back to Mr. Tushar Gupta. Tushar, now, you know, the big talk around this election has been around South India and how the BJP is really trying to make inroads into that geography, trying to increase its vote share, and hopes are highly pinned on this from Tamil Nadu specifically. Now, today, with the Prime Minister stating that the Tamil language we brought into the ambit of business, also, considering that the date on which this election manifesto has been released, which marks New Year's across several states, do you think that is going to have an impact? And what really are you seeing on the ground? Is the electorate in southern states really warming up to what the BJP has to offer? Tushar. Tushar, can you hear me? This question is for you.
Yes, I can.
Yes, please.
Yes, I can. Now I can. Yes. Manifesto as a whole, it's a very, very progressive document.
Right.
Even
Tushar,
if you were to compare it with the Congress manifesto. फिर ऑडियो चला गया.
Tushar, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
No, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I'm not getting any audio.
Right. We'll try and fix that line and we'll come back to you. Let me go across to Yuvraj once again. Yuvraj, I was asking this question from Tushar on the South India challenge. BJP has been trying to make inroads into that geography. The Prime Minister the past few days has done multiple rallies. Of course, various other ministers have also been present over there. Mr. Annamalai really coming out as a promising leader. Today as well, the Prime Minister mentioning that Tamil language we brought into the ambit of business also helps that the election manifesto got released on a day when New Year is being celebrated in Tamil Nadu and of course other states. What do you really make of this push into the southern states, the BJP, and do you think things are changing on the ground as far as the poll pitch of the BJP is concerned?
Before wading into the southern territory, let me borrow 30 seconds from you. When you asked regarding the jobs, see, I have the EPFO data in my hands. In the last 10 years, there are registered 16 crore new subscriptions. That is one. And with regards to the Mudra Yojana, the government claims that 43 crore people have been benefited from the Mudra Yojana. So even if you consider one job out of 3 loans, the figure says it all. So Mudra Yojana combined with the EPFO data, this number is a clincher to me. The government has somehow managed to fulfill, or in fact, overdone its promise of providing jobs. But yes, the opposition is opposition. It has to cry hoax over jobs or any of the issues. Now, wading into the southern territory, you need to understand the background that Narendra Modi hails from. He hails from an RSS background, a pracharak who believes in Akhand Bharat. He does not wish to wade into the north-south debate. For him, Tamil Nadu is as much reverential as Gujarat. For him, Kolkata is as much reverential as is Surat. So it's not about north versus south. And yes, BJP failed hitherto to gain votes, to gather votes, because they lack a credible face. But now they have a dynamic leader, Annamalai, and you mark my words, Annamalai will be the Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay for the BJP in southern India. He is assumed to be a no-nonsense leader. He has a ground connect with the poor of poor, the elitist of the elitist as in the bureaucrats. He has a connect with a 75-year-old as well as with a 5-year-old girl. And there are visuals that people are coming in humongous number to support him. And last but not the least, when I wet the politics of Tamil Nadu, the Dravidian politics, what I personally observed is the politics of Tamil Nadu has been nothing but a politics of resentment. It started with Periyar. He was lamenting against Congress. It was a case of unfulfilled promises and ambitions. He started a party. He was joined by Anna Durai. Anna Durai was joined by MGR, Jayalalitha, DMK. So this is nothing but a story of unfulfilled promises, unfulfilled ambitions, and one vertical division after another, one division after another, leading to the current state of Dravidian polity. They have nothing to offer. And if you, not just you, any person, if you Google Wikipedia, you'll simply get political ideology that AIDMK, DMK, or any such Dravidian party claims is Annaism. And Annaism is equal to communism plus capitalism, which is ironical, which is strawman. A communist cannot be a capitalist, a capitalist cannot be a communist. So this is the sham of an ideology the Dravidian parties offer. And this sham being broken, it is being shattered by the man Annamalai. Annamalai is not a man, he's a phenomena. Personally, I've also witnessed his 2 to 3 rallies, and the popularity that he enjoys, people cry just to shake hands with him. So he will be a game changer. And again, I'm giving breaking news. This time BJP is going to get at least 20 to 30% vote share in Tamil Nadu. You have my on this. I'm willing to put my neck out. Over to you, Sunita.
Raj over there stating that the BJP is going to get at least 24 to 30% increase as far as share in the southern states is concerned. Let me go back to you, Kailash. Kailash, now as far as the economy is concerned, this was Prime Minister's big page for Viksit Bharat 2047, stating that, of course, he wants to see India dominate in major emerging sectors, that is EVs, semiconductor, tech, 6G, and many more that he mentioned. However, on the point of economy, the critics on the side of the opposition have been stating that this kind of growth would have seen anyway. This kind of growth that the country is seeing would have happened anyway, considering the country's demographic dividend, a slowing China, and of course aging populations across the globe. What is your take on this?
No, it's a very hollow opposition point given by the people who are the opposition in the government. Just because you mentioned that 5 years have gone by or 10 years have gone by, any government would have been there. This progress would have been on the economic front, or India would have become the 5th largest economy. It requires political will. It requires proper planning. It requires proper policy decisions. It requires, at the end of the day, proper implementation. It requires that last mile person, gets the benefits of all the policies that are framed by the government. So just by having said that India has a demographic dividend, no doubt, India has a demographic dividend. India is a market. But how to tap that market? How to reach that market? What is the policy roadmap? What the opposition is not trying to understand is they are not able to give any kind of roadmap. They don't have any kind of vision. They don't have any vision for their own party. What is the kind of vision that you're going to project for India? And you have a prime minister, here you have a party. In the last 10 years, we have seen the kind of progress. And also in the case of the National Security Fund, Sumita, if you see, in the last 10 years, the kind of secured the armed forces have become and the kind of secured the borders have become. I still remember when Mumbai had the horrific attack of 2008, the then Home Minister of this country, I think it was Mr. P. Chidambaram, and he had made a statement in the press saying that 31 माह बाद कोई हमला हुआ है, यानी 31 महीने बाद हुआ है. He was trying to say that 31 महीने कुछ नहीं हुआ. And that was the kind of the feeling that the earlier government had. And here in 10 years, as a citizen of this nation, I feel secured. And you see the kind of progress that India has made, not only economy, but on the global front. Indian passport, the kind of weightage that it has. Japan has introduced is introduced e-visas for Indians. So many countries have opened doors for Indians coming on a not only visa on arrival, but on a visa-free basis. This speaks about the power that India has. India is 20% of the globe. And here it is the time where India is making with all its might and humility, feel that, we are 20% of the world and we must have a say in things.
Kailash, now let me go back to Yuvraj. Yuvraj, I mean, of course, Kailash makes a very, very pertinent point about the fact that, the critics have been saying that India would have still stayed the same and the same level of growth would have still been achieved had any other Prime Minister been around. But he says that it really is about the policies of the government, the consistency as far as delivery of welfare schemes that basically mean inclusion of every caste and class. Now, it does help that, India then now is trying to be a leader as far as emerging sectors is concerned. Also helps the government's pitch ahead of Elon Musk's purported visit to India.
Smita, I wish to add a couple of points to what Kailash just said. If it is about the critics, then let me tell you, 2004 to 2015 was the easiest period for global growth because even Pakistan doubled its GDP. During the lost decade, 2004 to 2014, India's GDP lagged behind Brazil, Russia, China, Indonesia, and Vietnam. And these are hard numbers. Between 2004 to 2014, I'll quote the GDP change of a few countries. China's GDP changed by 430%. Yes, you're right. Russia's GDP was changed by 222%. Brazil GDP was changed by 266%. And you know what? The liberals tell you that India's growth was the fastest under UPA. India lagged behind each and every nation. India's GDP change was 180%. But I have given you a comparative analysis of a few countries. Even Vietnam was above us. Vietnam change was 270%. So this is me debunking the half truth and cannot peddled by the so-called opposition or India alliance. Now, moving on to what you said. See, I have witnessed the press conference of PM Modi. It was about welfareism. It was about beneficiary schemes. He was not wading into the schisms that are peddled by the dotted India alliance. And the terms that he coined, trust me, this is not what I've heard any PM speaking in India. PM till date used to speak on jati, garibi, caste, but this man used some very technical terms. What PM Modi spoke was green energy, solar energy, foreign reserves, sustainability, global vision, hub, farmer sector, semiconductor, electronic hub, auto hub, innovation, startups. I mean, if this is what Hindutva is, I wish every PM on the globe has to be a Hindutvawadi. This is a very progressive PM and he touched each and every issue. As our learned friend rightly said, he even spoke about the truck drivers. He spoke about the rediwalas. He spoke about these technical sectors. So what more do you expect of a man in charge of this country? From a rediwala to semiconductors. And as one of my friends say, from chips to electronic chips. खाने की chips से लेके semiconductor chips तक. PM Modi has a vision for each and everything. And the last and the most important thing that I felt is about the tourism industry. I'll tell you why I feel this is important. Because when it comes about the Indic Renaissance, when it comes about the rejuvenating temples of Bharat, there is a lobby in Bharat जो ये बोलती है कि मंदिर क्यों बना रहे हो, jobs दो, मंदिर बनाने क्या होगा. So what PM Modi spoke was a clinching argument that whether it is temples, culture or anything, it is all encompassing tourism, and tourism industry has a large scope. We have the example of Ayodhya, we have the instance of Kashi, we have Mathura, we have Mahakal, this Mahakal corridor, and we have seen a flourishing, blooming economy around these cultural centers. So tourism is a sector that I personally, as a businessman, am looking forward to.
All right. So you are personally looking forward to some of the schemes, some of the promises that have been made by the BJP today. On that note, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning and sharing your thoughts and perspectives on what the manifesto, both the BJP and Congress, really mean for the electorate. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for joining us this morning. To recap what the Prime Minister announced, he wants to see India as a global manufacturing hub. He wants India to take a global leadership position as far as key emerging sectors are concerned. He, of course, several initiatives, including new Vande Bharat, Amrit Bharat, Namo Bharat trains, was something for the aviation sector, solar electricity schemes for individual household, urban housing scheme to be extended, clean air, livable cities. He also focused on the fact that this government has really been against corruption and it has made sure that the benefits of development are passed on to the lowest common denominator. He also pitched for this idea of one nation, one election again. He also said that UCC, which is of course remained a contentious exercise, the opposition has attacked BJP as far as the Uniform Civil Code is concerned. He also said that the government will work on UCC. So overall, all our guests stating that it's been a balanced manifesto. The manifesto has something for every section of the society. The Prime Minister also touched upon the South Connect as well, and of course our continuous coverage of the BJP's election manifesto release will continue on the other side of this break. Thank you very much for staying tuned.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.